welcome back to another episode of Lifetime Talks. I'm David Freeman.
And I'm Jamie Martin.
And in this episode, we're having a little bit of a reflection and application in this new year. So when you hear the words reflection, we had a word at the beginning of 2025 that we wanted to carry it out. I want to start there. What was your word and how did you feel like you did with it?
Yeah, I feel like we shared this early last year, 2025. And when we started talking about doing this episode, I looked at you and I said, I don't remember what my word was, which is, I think a little bit reflective of what the year was like. It's looking back, it's being honest about how well things went or they didn't go or what changed for you. So I should say it's the phrase of the year that I had started with in 2025 was rest well.
Rest well, okay.
And I think if I'm thinking back to this, because again, I didn't give it a lot of attention last year, I remember feeling like I wasn't giving myself enough time to sleep as long and as well as I wanted to, or to even just like take some downtime. Um, as I think about that now, sleep is still something that I am working on. It's one of those things where it's the first thing that I'll compromise when life gets busy. And that's, again, something I need to continue carrying into this new year because it's so important to health. We were talking
Essential. Yeah.
so many different health experts are saying if there's one thing you're going to prioritize, it should be sleep because of everything that happens there. And yet it's the one that, even though I know that,
Yeah.
I continue to struggle with. So I would, if I had to rate myself on a scale, I'd probably say I did about a 4 on
Scale from 1 to 5?
1 to 10.
Okay.
Like
Look
a
at me.
scale of 1 to 10. I was like,
You a little bit of
you're giving me so much more credit than I deserve.
okay.
No, I would give myself probably a 4 out of 10
Okay.
just because it's still a huge area of opportunity for me. So
Sleep is a big one. We know
Yeah.
that. We know that. That's one of our pillars we always speak to. And
Yes.
it is something that's evergreen. I think
Mm.
we always will continue to evolve within that space of sleep.
Yep.
I give the example. I was talking to some of my clients the other day. It's when I get up at like 4 in the morning, I'm like, oh man, I know when I get home, I'm going to go to bed early tonight. And it never happens. So it's always compromised because I don't know if you feel like you're going to miss something if you stay up a little bit later. It's a game or something that you might be doing. So sleep is always one that we're going to have to probably continue to work on.
How many hours do you sleep on average per night?
I actually I had a wrap up of my year through my Whoop.
Okay.
It said I had 6 hours and 52 minutes was my average
Okay.
across the whole
The
year.
whole year.
On those days that I get up at 4, it's probably more around like a 5-ish
Okay.
or so hours, but I always try to aim for 7. I feel like that's a golden number for me
Right.
that I can do consistently.
Mhm.
What about you?
Well, we all know, like, they keep saying 7 to 8 hours is the ideal. I would say I come in closer to, like, 6 to 6.5 most of the time. And
6 or
6
7,
or
you were
7, look at us. We're playing into that trend that happened all throughout the year too.
Yeah.
It's not enough, and I know that. I know when I sleep well. Where was I? I'm just thinking back. Oh, we went to Utah last year for a little break in October, and I slept well every night. Like, we were as a family, the 4 of us, we were hiking all day, we were doing different things, we were going around to the national parks, which was one of our adventures of last year.
Yeah.
But every night, we were all, like, lights out by 9:30, and we would wake up between 6 and 6:30. I felt awesome.
Mm.
Like, I was getting way more sleep than normal, and I felt amazing. I remember thinking after that trip that I was going to try and do at least a little bit better than what I've been doing at home. Because at home, I won't go to bed till 11 some nights, but I'm up by 5:15 to work out. So then I'm in that 6-hour range.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where when you do it, you realize how good you feel,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
making it happen in day-to-day life versus those kind of one-off experiences or during vacations.
Yeah.
So I have opportunity there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think also when you're on vacation, knowing that you're getting up the next day,
Mm.
you don't have to be on for something.
It's a different kind
It's
of
a
a
different,
day.
yeah, it's a
Yep.
different day, so you can be a little bit more at ease. It's probably not as high stressed
Yeah,
in that space. So I mean, I think that also could play a factor in it too.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, what was your word of the year
Ooh.
for last year?
It was intentionality.
Okay.
And the reason why I wanted to approach the year with that in 2025, I wanted to approach it is because I'm always pouring into so many different individuals. Everybody's like, do you really text every person from class? And I'm like, I do. It might be a copy paste, but I want you to know that it's coming from me individually. It's not some AI generated robot sending you this text. It's really me.
That.
So when I speak to intentionality, I want them to know that I want to do my follow ups. I want to stay connected beyond the four walls of this training session.
Mhm.
When it comes to family, primary focus, as far as my faith as well, all those things,
Mhm.
making sure not only making time for it, but being intentional, not just checking the box. All right, I did my daily devotional. I gave my wife a kiss on the head before leaving. Doing the check
Mhm.
the lit or check the box versus actually taking a moment
Yeah.
and soaking in all of what's in front of me.
Yep.
So intentionality was a big one for me. If I was to rate on a scale from 1 to 10, I would say about a 7.
Hmm.
I'm super consistent with my messaging. I'm super consistent with what it is that I put out, and I do a lot of follow up. You probably experienced some of my follow up.
Well, I was gonna talk about that, but you keep going, and then I'm gonna chime in on that because you're really good at it.
Yeah, and within that follow-up, the reason why I still give myself the 7, I know it's still room for improvement, because it's been people who actually reminded me, "Hey, you never got me that article," or,
Mhm.
"Hey, you never sent me this." So it's like, man, when you get that message, 1, they actually care because 'cause they're
Yeah.
following up, but 2, it's like, "Man, how'd I forget that?" So I'm a little bit
Yeah.
hard on myself. My mom always said, "Your biggest gift and curse is trying to please everyone." I know that's not
Yep.
gonna ever happen, but overall 7, and I feel like I'm gonna build upon that this year.
It's so interesting because you are so intentional and you're so good about reaching out. I mean, even in the work that we're doing on the podcasts, you and Molly and Molly's our executive producer. She's amazing. Like we're on a text chain together, and
Ali.
shout out because she does so much behind the
She
scenes
does.
that we just nobody sees. But you are almost always the one who initiates the conversation
Right.
because you're really good about like, "Hey, how's everyone doing? What's going on? What do we have coming up?" You're really good at that, and that's one of the things. I think I maybe said that last year when you and I talked similar, like, I think I might have said I wanted to work on that, and I'm still not great at that either. So, okay, I've got some room.
Yeah.
But you're awesome at it and
Yeah.
just, like, keeping us
Thank you.
connected, and even if it's months since we've seen each other in person or we've even texted, like, you're the one who's always, like, making sure that we're all aware of what's going on with one another.
Yeah, I'm reading a book and it's talking about the best ability is availability.
Mm,
And it's talking about being present,
yeah.
being connected in the
Mhm.
moment, and understanding it to another level. So
Yep.
a lot of times we both can be here exchanging, talking, and I could be on my phone or I could
Oh,
do an
right.
email. And I'm like, oh, yeah, keep going, Jamie, versus putting that all away and literally tuning into you.
Mhm.
So understanding what the word intentionality means within this space that I'm referencing is making sure that you have my undivided attention so I could be all tapped into what it is that you're saying and I
Mhm.
can elevate you in the way that I should, right? And
Right.
serve in the way that I should. So
Mm,
that's a big one. Like I almost like sleep when you think of it's
yeah.
always going to be something that evolves, but you got to be aware of it first. You got to
Yes.
know how to attack it, know how to approach it. So, yep, I'm at a 7 right now. Got to continue to work though.
Okay, so is intentionality your word for this year? I mean, we're already a few weeks into
Yeah, yeah.
2026.
Mhm.
What is your word?
Ooh, this is I put this out actually last year before coming into this year, the year of application,
Mm. You
right?
said that at the top of the episode.
Right, application,
Yeah.
and it's so many things. I was gonna say execution, but I wanna keep it a little bit more fun and fluffy.
Yep.
Application, right? When you think of application, we write down these objectives or these goals that we want, and then, as you just mentioned, what was it? Or I might have forgot about it because life hit me.
Right.
So, application. So, how do you now have these checks and balances? Is it checking in at the end of every 30 days on how you're progressing to your
Yeah.
word?
That next thing, right? That
Yeah,
next
so
phase of it.
and I think we have to create we had Lindsay Ogden on, I know we'll get into a little bit of the habit tracker that she helped create and support us with, but having a system in place to make sure that you're moving in that right direction
Yeah.
is so key. So, when it comes to let's use you for example,
Mhm.
when it comes to you, because 'cause you're pretty organized, at least from my eyes, I see a lot of what you do, but how do you now be more organized for self? Because I know you do it for everybody else. I think it's almost like the maternal nature of taking care of everybody else
Yes.
before self. How do you plan on doing that this year as far as staying on track with what it is?
Staying on track with my word or just in general, like,
In
hey,
general, yeah.
setting up myself for a successful year.
Mhm.
Well, actually, you mentioned Lindsay, and one of the things that I really love is she's always talking about different ways to set yourself up for success,
Mhm.
right? Including with like, I know she talks about atomic habits and habit stacking and all that. I'll never forget it was last year around probably around this time of the year, that she shared how she was approaching the year. And it was this idea of like using 3 prompts to think about how you want the year to go,
Okay.
right? Or what you're hoping for the year to contain. And so she had it as like 1 year defining adventure, 6 mini adventures, which are more of like the day-to-day things that you would
Okay.
maybe be able to go out and do from home versus like a big thing,
Yeah.
and then 4 healthy habits. And so that's how last year I organized a lot of the things I was thinking about for myself.
Okay.
I still got too big.
Mhm.
I would think I put too many things down, right?
Okay.
Like I think I did a list of 25 for 2025 as it's just something I've kind of done out of habit for the last several years. In this case, I think it really is allows me to be more thoughtful
Okay.
to do that.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm organizing this year. And so I'm carrying over a few things from last year.
Okay.
So I'll just share like one of the mini adventures that I really want to get this wildflower tattoo,
Okay.
which is not at all health related, but for me, it's a personal kind of thing of joy. It's representative of family and connection and the people in my life. And it's something that I've thought about over and over again, and I just haven't made the space to do it. So for me, that's one of the 6 like mini adventure things I'm writing down for this year
Okay.
to be able to hopefully go out and do and make that something that I focus on and make time for actually versus just skimming over it or forgetting about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now, I mean, stay right there. So
Okay.
make time for, you kind of birthed the word. Maybe this is your word. I don't know, thoughtful, but what is your word for the year
Yeah.
2026?
I think my word, and I've gone back and forth on this, I'm giving myself time to choose.
Okay.
I've given myself some time to choose, but the word that has come to mind repeatedly for me is confidence.
Hmm.
And I think on the outside, people would probably look at me like, gosh, she's got so many things going and she's very confident. And I am pretty confident, but I think there's confidence I want to build in various aspects of my life. In my strength training routine,
Okay.
I want to feel more confident in how I approach that. In even just certain meetings that I go into, I want to feel more confident and use my voice in a different way. So I think the word I'm going to stick with now that we're a few weeks in is confidence
Confidence.
and keep building on that
Okay.
for this year.
I love that.
Mhm.
Because we've been doing what we've been doing here now for 6 years,
I know.
right? 12,
Crazy.
12 seasons.
Yeah.
Like this is something, and I said it earlier, is like I'm super grateful for us to be able to be in this space,
Mhm.
share these stories, be connected, doing something that we love to do, right? And helping so many different people out.
Mhm.
So to have the confidence
Mhm.
to step up to this mic and be on
Yeah.
screen and then share all these stories, that's a form of confidence, and just keep on bringing that confidence to light. So I love that about you.
Mm.
Obviously, resonating the energy, I call it the reciprocity of life.
Yep.
Learn so much being in this space. I know that we have like the different backgrounds, and that
Mhm.
contrast creates so much more value to our listeners too. So I just want to say I appreciate your confidence.
Well, thank you. And I think part of that confidence is also being just really open to showing up authentically too. Cause it can be hard to just like feel like you want to like hold certain things back.
Yeah.
But I think the longer we do this, the longer, I'm working with Experience Life and that team and we hear from readers, what I keep hearing from them and our listeners is like, they can relate to us. And I
Yes.
think that is so important when we can show up and be really real
Hmm.
here and in other aspects of our lives where we put ourselves out there. That's when people connect or
Yeah.
they feel like they can come to us because they trust us to be who we are. And that's hopefully my goal is always to be showing up more authentically as me. And that's a confidence thing, like
Yeah.
feeling like you've got the space to do it. So I thank you for that
Yeah.
because it's one
Absolutely.
thing that I have been really thinking a lot about.
Hmm.
And I know we sometimes, we talk about how you have to show up and prepare for different meetings and there are different kind of slight versions of you.
Yeah.
But how do you make sure even when those adjustments are made in those different spaces that you are really truly bringing your true self to it? And
Absolutely.
that for me is really important
Yeah.
this year.
You got me as a gift once I said it. I kinda coined that, like, "Trust your dopeness," and
Yes.
it sits on my desk
Yeah.
in my office right now still to this very day, so forever grateful for that gift. But, yeah, trusting your dopeness,
Yeah.
coming being authentically yourself
Yeah.
is something that we definitely gotta champion each and every day, alright? So,
Awesome.
what else you got for me?
What is one okay, let's think in this idea of year defining adventure. If you had to I think I know what you say for last year,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
2025.
yeah.
Talk about that for a second, but then,
Okay.
like, is there anything you've thought of for this year as a year defining adventure?
Hmm. Well, going, remember, with intentionality and then application, like
Yep.
merging those two items together for 2026. I just being with family. I'm already so present with them, but just being even more involved. Obviously, with first Shell, my wife, she tells me I'm the most boring person And what she means by that is because she is opposite of me. Like, she is
Okay.
that extrovert, like, let's go out random, the kids get a sitter. So I wanna be a little bit more, I guess, exciting for her, like, on a random date night or something
Right.
along those lines because I'm on
Yeah.
throughout the week. So when I come home, it's yeah.
You're like, "I just wanna be
Yeah.
quiet and hang."
And she
Yeah.
tells me all the time, she's like, "No, I need that alpha energy. Whatever you're doing in that class, I need you to bring that right now so we can
Yes.
go out."
Oh, I love that.
So I wanna be obviously super present within that ask for her
Yep.
when it comes to both Bane and Harley, just championing whatever it is that they desire. Like,
Yeah.
Bane's doing trombone, Harley wants to do acting classes, and then obviously there's sports. A lot of that stuff comes just natural for them. They're competitive. So I appreciate that piece. So that's what I would say is being so much more involved and connected to the desires of what it is that they need
Yeah.
for this year. Obviously, your defining moment from 2025, just Jamaica and just being in the Category 5 hurricane.
Yeah.
It was
That wasn't planned for, obviously, right? You can't plan for those things, right?
no, you
Oh,
can't.
man.
But the experience, I want to take it back because there was so much that I learned about myself. I learned about people around me.
Mhm.
The one thing I ended up saying is it doesn't matter what your title is, what status you have, what your bank account looks like. When a Category 5 is coming, like,
Yeah.
all that goes out the window.
Yeah.
And when we were transitioning to the shelter, when we evacuated from our rooms on the resort to the shelter, and we're in line to get into the convention center, you could hear people saying this status and that status, or I can
Yeah.
pay this and that. I'm like, they did not care.
No,
It was
you're
like,
all going
you're all
in.
going
Yeah.
to these certain spots. And in that moment, the reality that I love about that is if we start treating each other,
Mm.
as human beings versus I'm going to treat you different because of what your bank account looks or because of your title.
Yeah.
No, just do right by the person by doing right by the person.
Yeah.
And how we ended up coming together in that space, in that moment when it's right there. And we know that the hurricane is literally, getting hit by the wall of the east wall of the hurricane is 10 to 12 miles west of us. And just knowing the eerie silence that happened, then you hear the noise of things being ripped off the roof, the solar panels being ripped off the roof, and then it was a sense of peace in that moment, which is the
Mhm.
irony of it, right? You're in the
It
middle
seems
of a storm,
counterintuitive,
right?
right?
And then 15 minutes is gone,
Mhm.
and we were gratefully still there, but it was just, oh man, it was a roller coaster
Mhm.
of emotions,
Yeah.
to come out of that and then see, each individual that's a native of the country to still be at peace and be like, "Hey, man, everything's gonna be okay." Like,
Yeah.
still having that mentality when their house could be just completely gone.
Yeah.
And we complain about the littlest things here in the US, so it's just man, that was a defining moment for me just from a growth standpoint and perspective.
It's so interesting because it often is those moments that you don't plan for or the loss that you experience that when you're on the other side of it and the perspective you have and how you can kind of return back to that.
Mhm.
You and I have talked about this, but I've had a couple significant losses in my life, and whenever things get a little intense or I think something is really crazy or out of control or whatever, I'd like to take a moment to pause and just like get perspective and, like,
Mm.
remember what truly matters, and I think that's what you're saying here
Yes.
is, like, what really matters in the grand scheme of it all, and when we do that, I think it helps us kinda calm down, find a sense of peace, and be like, "Okay, we can tackle whatever is in front of us because 'cause
Yeah.
we've been through harder things. We've faced adversity in some whatever shape that took for you." So, I mean, that's a lot to have to
Yeah.
face and to go through, but to be able to carry those lessons forward, that's the beauty of,
Yeah.
again, lessons that we get to take out of
Mhm.
all of our life experiences.
Yeah. All right, I'm
So
flipping it back right to you. Your defining moment, that you're looking for 2026, and
Oh.
then if you have one for 2025, share it with us.
Well, 2025, my was kind of going on a big adventure with our family, like the year defining adventure. We took a trip to Costa Rica and we did all sorts of things that I would had said I would never do,
Like what?
like zip lining,
Okay.
across the I just am not an adventure seeker, so this was me getting completely out of my comfort zone over and over again on that trip, learning to surf, which actually ended up being so fun, and also, like, do Pilates because 'cause that'll help you not Pilates, yoga, because 'cause
Okay.
that'll help you, like, surf a little better. I was thinking
Okay.
about my mobility and all these things and like getting out of chaturanga and all these things, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But just a lot of different things that we did there that pushed me outside of my comfort zone, but really ended up being this really special experience with my family. So that was last year. Honestly, this year I have yet to kind of figure out what that's going to be
Okay.
for me or my family. I think it's more about some of the small things I want to keep doing in day-to-day life, right? Like I want to like I mentioned like the confidence in my strength routine. Like I had kind of gotten away from strength training in the last 2 years. I did a marathon in 2024, did another 10 miler in 2025. And I realized at the end of 25, after doing that race, that running is really not something I love that much. Like for people who do that and can do it repeatedly, I think that's
Kudos.
amazing. Like that's amazing.
Yeah.
But I really wasn't feeling great doing that. And I kind of just kept pushing myself through it. So I wanna carry, like, the strength training that I've returned to since, like, last October throughout this whole year because I feel so empowered, I feel so strong, and I think that is what like, one of the things, like, strength is gonna be my focus with, the little bouts of running when it feels like it calls to me, but
Love that.
that's like a more of a habit than a big adventure because we're still figuring it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And then I know on another end, you coach now, yeah. So you're coaching too. So come on, talk about it.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm a team manager this year.
Okay.
That's what in the basketball, but it has been really fun to be able to kind of lead my daughter's basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of my favorite things I did last year. It was honestly like when I think about one of the things that brought me great joy, it was coaching those 10 girls.
Yeah.
Was one of my favorite things. And the beauty of the team that she's on now again is that it's almost all the same girls.
Yeah.
I stepped back from coaching, but I'm a team manager and I'm getting integrated. But I could see those girls together, and I'm so proud of kind of what we created as a team last year, like the tone we set for them.
Yeah.
So that's been really fun. And to see my daughter who plays basketball, like step into that and feel really more confident this year too in her season. Um, yeah, I mean, that's just where life is right now. It's busy. Life is busy. I know you and I both have kids who are kind of in this phase where they're in everything. And so how do we, in the midst of that busyness, still show up, be real, take care of ourselves
Yeah.
in the midst of all of it?
Yeah. I mean, the reason why I brought that up because I know that was a big thing.
Yeah, it was huge for me
Right.
last
Just
year.
and I see the posts and
Oh,
I see the proud moments and the growth. So
yeah.
that was something I want to make sure we threw out there too. And to your point, putting them in certain situations that create growth.
Yes.
Harley, for example, I'll use Harley
Yeah.
for example. Like Harley thrives in anything that requires speed.
Okay.
So in soccer, she can kick the ball and then run past everyone. Her speed,
That's going to be
yeah,
your
that's going to be a thing.
advantage.
Track, obviously, you fast, you're
Yep.
going to be out there in front. Basketball challenged the crap out of her.
Yeah.
Why? Because you got to actually keep up
You
with
got
the
to do
ball
something at the same time as
and
you're
change the
running.
direction,
Yeah.
all those different things. So
Yep.
it was awesome. And Shell, I remember it was a frustration of like, all right, this is the last season. I'm like, no, this is the growth.
Yeah.
This is her learning that
Yep.
she has to actually go through this uncomfortable piece.
Yes.
And lo and behold, what happens? Her game that it just started clicking for her.
Yeah.
And to understand the patience in that versus us rushing to the next thing
Yep.
that we know that they're good at.
Yep.
Because as a parent, you want them to always feel that.
Yeah.
No, I like them being uncomfortable and going through how do I figure this out? This little bit of adversity
Yep.
is going to come back in life in a different form outside of sports, and I got to know how to respond to it.
And that's a
So,
training tool.
yeah, love that. Love
Yep.
that.
All right. Well, we are in the midst of our 12th season.
Mm.
It's been just such an adventure. We've
Yes.
talked to so many amazing people. We're excited for all the rest of the guests that we have coming this season.
Yep.
Anything else you want to kind of leave our listeners with after this conversation? We head into the next 2/3 of season 12.
Yeah. Keep the feedback coming.
Yes.
Once again, we gave her a shout out earlier. Molly always gives us the feedback as far as people sending in, their thoughts, what y'all want to hear more of, what y'all want to see more of. All those things matter. We want to obviously cater to y'all. We've been doing good in this space. A little flex, obviously, getting the awards
Yeah.
as far as the Ozzy Folio Awards. So we've been doing great in this space, and that's largely due to people actually listening and y'all giving the feedback. So we just want to say keep that feedback coming, and I look forward to continue. We look forward to continuing to pour into y'all.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for
Yeah.
tuning in.